My dad blamed my baby sister for our mom's death. I was 16 when Ellie was born and mom didn't make it through the delivery. Emergency C-section that came too late. But dad looked at this tiny, perfect baby covered in vernix and saw a murderer. He wouldn't hold her, wouldn't even say her name, just kept staring at the wall like she didn't exist, while mom's blood was still on the delivery room floor. The nurses kept asking if he wanted to cut the umbilical cord, hold his daughter, do skin-to-skin contact. Dad just shook his head and walked out. Left me there with this screaming newborn, who had no idea she'd just lost the only parent who actually wanted her. I was still in my school uniform from that morning when everything went wrong, so I stepped up. At 16, I became a mom overnight, learned to mix formula at 2 a.m., figured out how to change diapers without gagging, mastered the art of burping a baby while doing homework, changed every diaper, did every 3 a.m. feeding, while dad drank himself stupid in the living room with mom's photo turned face down on the mantle. Ellie's first word was mama, but she was looking straight at me with those big brown eyes that looked exactly like mom's. By the time Ellie could walk, she'd learned to tiptoe around the house in her tiny socks. By age 3, she'd perfected the art of disappearing whenever dad's rusted truck pulled into the driveway, engine coughing like a dying animal. She'd whisper, "Is the angry man here?" and run to hide behind my legs like I was her shield, and my heart would shatter into a million pieces every single time. Dad started bringing dates over when Ellie was 4, calling himself a single father of one who'd lost his wife tragically. He'd ignore the toys, the shoes, the confused looks when women asked about the other kid. Ellie would just watch, silently, as he erased her. The breaking point came when Ellie was 5. She drew a family picture at school. Me, her, our dog Max, and a son with a smiley face. When her teacher asked where daddy was, Ellie tilted her head and said, "I don't have one of those. I just have my sister Mama." That night, Dad found the drawing magneted to the fridge. He cornered me in the kitchen, whiskey on his breath, furious. "Why doesn't she draw me? I'm her father." I put a roof over her head. I looked at him dead serious and said, "Because fathers don't spend 5 years pretending their kids don't exist. You've never read her a bedtime story, never kissed a scraped knee, never even said her name out loud." His face went red. "She killed my wife. She was a baby, Dad. A baby who needed her father, and instead got a stranger who hates her for breathing." He raised his hand like he was going to hit me, then froze. Ellie was standing at the bottom of the stairs, but she wasn't scared anymore, just disappointed. Like she'd finally figured out what the rest of us already knew. Dad's hand dropped. He stared at Ellie for a long moment, and I saw something flicker across his face. Regret, maybe? But then it was gone. He packed his bags that weekend, said he was starting fresh with his new girlfriend Jennifer, moving 2 states away. Didn't even say goodbye to Ellie. Ellie just shrugged when I told her, and asked if we could have pizza for dinner since the angry man won't be here to complain about the smell. I worked 3 jobs to keep us afloat, waitressing at the diner, cleaning offices at night, babysitting on weekends. Ellie learned to do homework at the diner where I waitressed, coloring quietly in a corner booth while I served coffee to truckers, and pretended my back didn't ache from carrying her everywhere. She never complained, never asked why other kids had dads who came to school plays and soccer games and parent-teacher conferences. When she turned 10, she stopped asking when Dad would visit for her birthday. When she turned 12, she stopped mentioning him at all. When she turned 16, the same age I was when I became her mom, she hugged me tight and whispered, "Thank you for choosing me when he wouldn't." Last week, Ellie graduated as valedictorian and gave a speech that made the whole auditorium cry. She thanked my sister who raised me, who chose to be my parent when someone else chose to walk away. Dad wasn't there to hear it. According to Facebook, he was at a barbecue with Jennifer's kids, playing the devoted stepfather he never was to Ellie. But you know what? Ellie didn't even notice the empty seat where he should have been. She only had eyes for me, her sister Mama who kept every promise Dad never made.